Well, thank you for joining me for this video. We're going to be talking about the history of money and how Bitcoin fits into it. Bitcoin Hoodie Guy here. Before we dive more into the video, you can see some of the hoodie designs I'm coming up with. You can pay with Bitcoin, fiat, hopefully Bitcoin as long as I got everything set up right. And yeah, I'm going to be coming up with new designs all the time and adding them to the store, and then some will be leaving. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about what is money. In a larger sense, it is a medium of exchange that everyone agrees on. It could happen via free market or government enforcement, usually government enforcement. So let's just go through a brief history of, you can see there's a bunch of different charts, basically bartering to cowrie shells, tools, salt, cows, minted coins, silver, bronze, gold, and obviously the leaders eventually realized they can just dilute it. Like the Roman Empire, by the time they started their silver coins to by the time the Roman Empire was falling apart, they only had like 5% silver at the end. So gold standard, Bretton Woods, and then after 1971 fiat, and then now we're at cryptocurrency emerging. You can see that right here, you can see there's some other ones that showed like plastic, right here, this is saying barter, gold, metal coins, paper money, plastic cards, electronic money, cryptocurrency. And then this one right here. But before we get into this one, let's just look at, if you've ever seen WTF happen in 1971, it just shows what happened. 1971 is when the United States, Richard Nixon took it, the United States off the gold-backed dollar, and you can see there's a lot of inflation. So it's an interesting website to see the inflation. I'm just going to go down to one chart, and this is income inequality, the cost of living. Average house was $25,000, new house $3,500 for a car. The average person made $10,000. Inflation taking hold. You can see unit per can of Campbell's condensed soup, the inflation there. So there's some pretty crazy charts here. And we're not going to just go through it that much, but like this one right here shows the U.S. national debt. That's 1971 right there. You can see this went bananas. So let's look at this other little chart, this little website, history of money. Barter, basically, kind of depends on what someone believes, but no matter what you believe, whether you believe in evolution or creation, everyone knows that at one point there was no money on Earth, and people started trading different items. Like right here, cowrie shells to coins. They're doing 1300 BC cowrie shells, beads in Africa, big stones in the South Pacific Islands. 1000 BEC, they started having gold coins. And then proto coins, oval shaped, made out of electrum or gold silver alloy, and had the design on one side only. And then you can see paper money started to become a thing eventually due to a copper shortage. Chinese empire, or some empire in China or Asia, issues the first known paper banknotes, and I think it didn't really last very long. I think it was 11 or 1200 that it really took off, and it lasted a couple years in China, and then eventually went away. 1661, Sweden issues Europe's first banknotes. Gold in England is the official standard value. England mints the £1 gold coin, the sovereign. Gold is the United States official standard of value, 1879. And then you can say e-money credit cards, 1860. Western Union conducts the first electronic fund transfer. The first credit card, the Cardboard Diners Club card, is released. 1999, mobile banking begins. 1967, England receives the world's first ATM. 1999, mobile banking begins in Europe. 2009, Bitcoin. And so less than 3 years, the pizza is worth about $750,000. That's when the first known transaction for Bitcoin was May 21st, 2010, when Laszlo spent 10,000 Bitcoin on 2 pizzas. Most everyone knows about that. So that's just kind of a brief history. That's really breaking it down. It's a lot more complicated, and there's ebbs and flows when something and a new technology kind of comes in, and it takes a while for it to get adopted. But when you kind of circle back, so far, what makes Bitcoin a good store of value currency? So far, gold has been the best store of value over multiple generations, but now fiat is backed only by economic and military might. It's not backed by anything. Inflation has gotten out of hand. Gold is great, but it's not really a transactional currency. It's heavy. So once kings, rulers, governments had the ability to dilute their current circulating currency supply, it has become too easy to print more and too difficult to resist. They want to fund wars, whatever social programs they're doing. Bitcoin offers a digital currency with a fixed supply, 21 million. Almost 19.5 million have been mined, and the last Bitcoin is estimated to be mined in the year 2140. Bitcoin is the world's largest computer network, doing over 450 quintillion calculations per second. Now, there's this article here saying that Bitcoin is doing 209 quintillion calculations per second, but it's from last year, and it's talking about how a trillion is an enormous amount. For example, a trillion seconds ago was 30,000 BCE. A quadrillion seconds ago was 32 million years ago. And a quintillion seconds ago is 32 billion years ago. And so when you look and you scroll down, this was last year, and the hash rate was around about 209 EHS a second. And so right here you can see that the current hash rate is over double that. You can see this is when that article came out. You were looking more like sometime last year when the hash rate was more like at 209. So you got the most powerful computer network that no one country or organization controls. With its low inflation and decentralized nature, Bitcoin is seen by many as the hardest form of currency that has ever existed. And whether you think Bitcoin's the hardest currency that's ever existed is up to you. Now, there's going to be people that have things to say about Bitcoin, about how it's not as fast as other cryptocurrencies. So right now, you got to make those decisions for yourself of what you think about Bitcoin, how it fits into the currency. Right now, it is the largest cryptocurrency, the most decentralized, and people are building on things like ordinals, which gives it other use cases. You might not like ordinals, but it is generating fees for the miners, which helps secure the network. And you have Lightning. Coinbase, is going to be implementing Lightning, I believe, in the near future, and that'll bring Lightning to 100 million users there. And people are building layer 2 or ways to basically set up communities where new Bitcoin isn't created, but like Fedimint, the Fedi, or Lightning, where these organizations and groups are doing things off chain so that you can transact with Bitcoin faster, but it's all getting settled eventually and on the Bitcoin network. So that's my 2 cents, just kind of a brief history of money. I think it's interesting. I'm starting to read more books about it, and this video is not super in depth, just a quick rundown to give you where we're at. And so you can see that, especially now with the reserve currency being the US dollar, and it's getting to the stages maybe in its reserve currency cycle where it's going to have to start printing a lot more money. And that could probably make the whole world financial, situation maybe more difficult. You can see Argentina, Venezuela, some smaller countries might completely have their currency fall to the wayside. And you just got to see if Bitcoin is primed just to take some of that market share. Right now, some people think that it could take a piece of a $500 trillion market, basically stocks, gold, maybe some real estate. If people feel like that's a good place to park their money. And then also the use cases of people being able to spend their money more easily with Bitcoin. So that's what I got. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching, and have a good day.